Alright, we're back with part 2 of the Vehicle Voltron Soul of Chogokin from Bandai. If you haven't seen part 1, go do that. We go over all the vehicles and the combination. In this video, hopefully we're going to tackle the articulation and weaponry. They did pretty good with the articulation, but it's maybe not as good as other ones in the line. The stuff at the top, so there is a neck joint. When you push it down, you got to just pull it up a notch, and then you have a little ball joint that moves and rotates, so that's good. You have a kind of a hinge joint here in the chest that it's a bit not tight, so there's a lot of play in it. I mean, it's secure, but I would have liked it to be tighter. You can rotate, and the top one is a hinge, but I feel like the bottom one is kind of a hinge because it's loose, not because it's supposed to be. The arms have a forward motion on the shoulder, like that, and then they also come up like that, so fair amount of movement there. But you gotta, I don't know, it's weird, it goes in weird. Like it's not natural, if that makes any sense. You have rotation. Oh, make sure you take that off. You have rotation, and there is, wow, things are falling off all over the place. There is technically a double joint here, but I mean, that is all you're gonna get out of it. And as I might have mentioned before, these rotate, and you can remove those with variant fists, and we'll go over that in a minute as well. So going down to the hips. Again, pretty good, but not great. You have these skirts here that if you move them out of the way a little bit, you get more motion out of them. So we'll do that just so you can see what's going on. You do have your standard clicky forward joint, but once you hit the back, this back skirt doesn't move. So it's like, that's what you're getting for back movement. But it comes out, rotates, fairly good. Alright, so for the knees, you don't really have a double joint. I mean, you have a little extra motion that clicks out at the bottom of the leg, but you know, and it can pop out if you overextend it. And that's basically both legs. You can, like I said, you can swivel, and then finally the feet are actually really nicely done. That you can pull them out from the legs a little bit, and then you get a great sort of side motion. You can go front and back, you can rotate, so you can do a lot with them to get a good range of motion there. So overall, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's Vehicle Voltron. You got 15 different ships combining to make a solid, cohesive robot. I can kind of forgive not having a super extreme poses, but it's pretty good. Alright, so I want to show you the hands, and I found another articulation thing in the process, that you actually have a little joint here that kind of goes out, and you'll see it better when I pop the hand off. So it kind of hinges out one way and has a little extra room. So for variant hands, we have an open hand, which looks fine. It's more anime. I guess the only problem I have, it's not a huge problem, is that there's just a very distinct change in the width between the ship and the hand, but not a big deal. So you get that. You've got just a angry closed fist. Again, doesn't hold anything, it's just a fist. If you don't want to have the vehicle front fist, you use that. And you have a sword holding fist, which I'll show you that when I get to the weapons. And then lastly, you have this, it's a fist for holding the propellers as weapons. Basically looks like this. So it's got a couple of slots, a slot between the fingers, and there's room in the hand, and there's a little peg where we'll attach it to. You have the same for both sides, so I'm not going to show you the other side. Alright, so yeah, weaponry. There's a few things going on. Let's just go. So the idea is whenever Voltron is using his weapons, these aren't there. And when you take those up, you see a problem. That these are just white pegs. They don't retract. They don't you know, there's no caps for them. I believe there is a third-party seller though that made just a decorative little cap that goes over it, which is kind of an oversight. It should just be a silver and flat, or they should go back in some capacity, but these don't. Okay, that being said, we can put any of these discs in his hand, propeller blades, or just the spinning laser blades. They all can go in. So we're going to go with the spinning laser blade right now, and basically we have to get it to go in. Well, actually we'll do the 3 one. That one's a little easier. 3, and we put this in his, go between his thumb and his finger, and then we try to get it on the little peg. Boom. So now he's got his spinning laser blade, and of course there's a more of a electro version that shows that those charged up. So yeah, I mentioned the other blade, and the deal with this one is, so you can't put the blade effect on while the hand is off, because then when you try to get the hand on the peg, it comes off, because this is one of those ones that really takes use of that joint, because otherwise it'll hit. So put the fist on first, and then add the spinny blade effect. And of course we have the blazing sword, which is pretty much similar in size to the one that came with the old DX toy. The crest here, whatever this is called, the hilt has gold on it now. It just fits nicely in the hand. It can also fit in the vehicle hand if you want to be more toy accurate. But it looks great. I'm happy with it. But there are also a lot of other accessories that did not come with the toy that this set includes. We also have these solar combat spears, I guess they're called. I never knew what they were called. To do that, we have to disassemble this guy, and I believe this goes in from underneath, and then you just reattach the part to the top, and then you can do the short one. Did I do it wrong? No, there you go. So he's got the short form of the spear, and we'll just, oh, both sides come off. Look at that. Again, didn't know that. And you've got this giant one, which you can do. You just have to figure out the best way to do it. There you go, that works. And the spear is really long. It is all plastic. It would be cool if it was metal, but it's not. The last weapon that I wanted to show you, well, the last hand weapon. Well, maybe, no, it's not even the last hand weapon. But this is called the Ray Beam Whip. And this one you just kind of force in, I guess. And you have this wire, which is bendy, so you can do it straight out like he's whipping it. You could put it over his head and, you know, do something like that. It's pretty cool, but I don't know if I would really ever use this or display this. But I guess it's neat that you have a little wire effect to keep it in place, and you could just whip things. Why not? So the last thing is the electro whip, and the electro whip, the hilt of it is formed from the back of the headship. So here's why this piece comes off. It's supposed to, and you replace it with a little panel like so, and then you get another piece which goes into the palm of the hand. There's a little slot in the hand, so the idea is that this goes into that slot first, and then you have this effect part that you plug in here. So again, it's a cool effect, and I guess it would be something that you would pull it out from behind the head and come around. It's been so long since I watched the show, I don't even know. And you know, the show's not even really that important to me anymore, as this Vehicle Voltron is more like an icon that I'm just really in love with the design of. So like any good solo Chogokin release, we have the display stand that fits all the weapons on it. But hear me out. One, I'm not a huge fan of the color of the blue. I would prefer it to be black. And the other thing is, man, you look at these wrong and they just come off. Like you tap one of these and they just that happens a lot. So that's a bit of a pain. You know, you can store the fists underneath if you want to. That's fine. And also, there is a switchable baseplate. So it comes with the Dairugger 15, and apparently somehow you can pop this one off and replace it with Voltron. So that's up to you which way you want to display it. So those are the facts of Vehicle Voltron, aka Dairugger 15. My overall impressions, I'm generally pretty happy with this. Yeah, there are a few things that in a perfect world could be done better. Like if you didn't have to make a combine, you could have full reach elbows. Things that they could have done without sacrificing stuff is have a better mechanism for these caps to work. I don't like that when you take these off, they're just a empty white peg. I would have liked, so when you do these skirts, you try to pull them out, they often pop off, and that's great. I'd rather they pop off than not come out at all, but they pop off kind of regularly. I feel like I would have liked to seen them engineer something with the towers on the legs to make it so that these little chrome towers down here, that they could be part of the toy rather than being removed. I have concerns about the rubber treads, as always. You know, but I'll say that with anything, especially these are gonna be tough. They're so tight. I see them breaking, and I just don't like that. Look, you've got treads here. Yeah, I know you can't make them rubber, but mold some little wheels in there so it'll just roll on the ground. I don't like that they didn't do that. And also this, the back of the head, the ship, that comes off. You just bump it, it comes off pretty easily. But that's pretty much my only concern. I'm glad that it exists. I feel that I've been looking forward to them making one of these for some time, and that time has finally occurred, and it was not anticlimactic. I think it's a great toy, but if you're thinking of buying one, I would say buy one without hesitation. But I think you kind of know if you're going to buy one or not buy one already. If you like the character, you'll get it. If you got Lion Voltron, you'll get it. If you've had the classic toy, I would say get it. Yeah, I'd say it's a good job. This is Josh from CollectionDX. I'll see you next time. Also wanted to mention that I'm going to do one more video where it's going to be a comparison with the Miracle Metalworks Vehicle Voltron that we had a few years ago. Be curious to just sort of compare and contrast the different takes, see where one was more successful than the other. I can just tell you overall this is a better toy. Hands down a better toy. But not to say that I don't like the other one, because I do. This just does it better. So this is Josh from CollectionDX, and I'll see you next time.